students. Kasi we also cater to AgChem and BS Bio students. For them, wala silang ABT 101, so I think parang Bio 101 yata yung consider na. I am not so sure. At the end of the course, you are expected to discuss the principles and development of the different types of markers, explain the major applications of molecular markers in various fields, but with emphasis again on agriculture, since this is an agricultural biotechnology course. Apply basic molecular techniques, which I will be covering. I think that's the first 4 exercises, the basic techniques. And finally, discuss the advances in molecular marker technologies. You may notice that the things we teach here in the lab is quite outdated, but the fundamentals are there. So any advancement you might encounter later on in life, it still holds true pa rin naman, yung fundamentals. So please don't forget what you will be learning here. I will be discussing just some class policies and total overview and also some laboratory guidelines for today. Our exercises will start next week. So I hope to dismiss you early today, maybe just an hour or so for today. So let's discuss some class policies. For the attendance, I'm sure Dr. Galvez has already explained for the lecture. For the lab, so we meet once a week. Therefore, you are allowed 20% of that is around 3 absences. Okay, you're allowed 3 absences, excused or unexcused. You may apply for an excuse slip, but then again, we as faculty members can only act upon yung mga excuse slip na ini-issue ng OCS. Okay? Just to reiterate, your allowable absences is 20% for a class that meets once a week. That's 3 absences. Present a valid excuse slip to be excused. Again, those that have been issued by the OCS. I cannot act upon your parents or guardians' excuse letters, your medical certificate, only the slips that come from the OCS. Is that clear? Okay. Here are the steps in acquiring the excuse slip. I'm sure you're already familiar with this. I know it's very frustrating, but we cannot go away with it. For any mental health concerns, we are assigned Ms. Janet Dolor of the Office of the Student Affairs. Please feel free to reach out to her in case you need her services. Her contact details are there. I will be providing you a copy of the slides. Since this is a laboratory class, every meeting you will be required to submit a worksheet. Now the duration of submission will depend on the exercise. I will be updating you from time to time. Also, you'll be requested to buy the laboratory manual. Most likely it will be available by next week. We'll keep you posted. Probably Dr. Galvez will be the one updating you regarding the laboratory manual. As far as I know, it's currently being printed. So just wait na lang for further announcement. I'm not sure how much, but please prepare around 200 to 300 pesos. I'm not yet sure. Maybe around that ballpark figure. I think 200 to 300. So for this semester, well, actually all other semesters, the laboratory grade comprises of 40% of your total grade in ABT 106. The remainder 60% would come from the lecture. And the breakdown of the 40% is as follows. So we will have 2 laboratory exams worth 40%. Laboratory exercises and reports are worth 30%. Quizzes and class participation are 20%. And your lab performance and instructor evaluation is at 10%. So laboratory exercises, to be more specific, post-laboratory reports will be in the form of worksheets and study questions. So all of these are compiled in your laboratory manual. Okay? Normally, we have you submit hard copies. But in consideration of this situation, will it be okay if I require you to submit it online through the Google Classroom? Would that be more comfortable for you? Okay? Pero pag si Ma'am Heidi na yung nag-take over, it might change. Ha? But for me, it's okay for me to submit online. Pero kailangan nyo pa rin magsagot ng hard copy. I won't be providing the soft copy of the worksheets. My suggestion is work with the hard copy, tapos take a screenshot or scan nyo na lang, then PDF nyo, then send it to the submission link. Is that okay? Okay. So summer exercises will be accomplished individually. Some of them will be accomplished by group. I will let you know kung kailan individual, kung kailan by group. Meron ding exercises na dalawa yung requirement, possibly isang by group, isang individual. Basta I'll let you know, medyo magulo yung setup ng mga exercises. But I'll keep you guided regarding the submissions. Again, by default, we require you to submit on-site right after the exercise itself. But I understand that might not be possible for some of you. I think a 1 week waiting time would be enough. For example, if we do the exercise today, I will require you to submit it Friday next week. Is that okay? Again, para sa akin lang yun. Baka magbago pagdating ng heights. Just some disclaimer. So, ganun yung magiging default natin na submission unless specified otherwise. Okay? Alright. In previous semesters, we require you to present a paper critique, but we realized that this would consume too much time, so inalis na namin siya. I think this sem ganun din. Wala nang paper critique, so you don't need to worry about that. There will also be quizzes. Some of them are announced, some of them are unannounced, just to keep you on your toes. Okay? Always come prepared when you go to class. It may be a pre-lab quiz, it may be a post-lab quiz. Alright? So always prepare. I suggest reading since you already have that manual, read it before coming to class, yung exercise for the day. For the exams, we have two. The first exam covers exercises 1 to 6. Right after matapos natin yung exercise 6, the following week would be, well, normally would be yung ating first exam. Then after that, again, Dr. Galvez would be taking over exercise 7. Siya naman yung bahala sa final half of ABT 1 to 6. Laboratory. Your laboratory performance worth 10%. This is in the form of self and peer evaluations. But in my experience, yung mga nagsa-self-evaluation ng student, pina-perfect lang nila yung sarili nila. So why even bother? Nagtatrabaho lang, so huwag na natin gagawin. But for group works, let me see kung mag-ano ko ng peer eval. Definitely si ma'am nagkaka-peer eval, so expect her to send the form. But for me, I'm not so keen with this. I would probably base your performance on your attendance and actual performance on the lab experience, based on my observation. Okay? So please participate every time na may laboratory exercises. Let's review some policy on cheating. So it involves any form of cheating or act of dishonesty in relation to your studies. And once you have been caught or alleged cheating, it would be subject to the investigation of the college or the unit and will be raised to the chancellor. And if found guilty, the student shall be penalized with suspensions for not less than 1 year and shall be barred from graduating with honors regardless if you meet the grade requirement. Okay, but again, I trust every one of my students na hindi na tayo aabot sa ganito. So please do not let me down, okay? Alright. The use of AI is not prohibited, but we advocate for its responsible use. And here are some guidelines that has been adopted from the UPLB Graduate School, which we will be following also for ABT 106. So original content creation must come from yourselves and not AI slap. Okay? Huwag kayong sasabit sa akin ng galing sa AI. Yung original content must come from you. However, you may use AI for language readability and enhancement. But in such cases, you must declare the use of AI in any of the outputs that you will be submitting. Okay? Here's a sample clause that you may use. Feel free to use this one as your pattern. And it is my responsibility as the FIC to be able to determine whether your work is AI or not. And there are tools for us to use para dito. We are well equipped to do it. So, ayun. Please use AI responsibly. Some important reminders, please always come on time. For my former students, they always know that I always come on time. Okay? And I expect the same from all of you. Meron bang may class dito before ABT 106? Saan ka mag
IBS.
IBS. I will be giving a 15-minute grace period. Okay? But I will be starting on time. Mag-start ako ng exactly 1 p.m. Every meeting. Unless may emergency or something, I'll let you know sa Google Classroom. Okay? Be guided with the course schedule on the topics, activities, and required outputs, and the deadlines of submission. Since we will be utilizing Google Classroom, mas madali mag-track ng deadlines. Inform your faculty in charge, that would be me. If you're experiencing any difficulty in the course, then we'll sort it out, hopefully. And familiarize yourselves with Google Classroom. I'm sure sanay na kayo sa Google Classroom. And just in case kailanganin natin mag-asynchronous or, mag-online synchronous classes, please prepare din a Zoom account. Okay? And just so prepared kayo for the exercise and any quiz that may arise on the day, always study ahead of the scheduled lecture and laboratory. They may come up as quizzes. And ayun lang, I guess. Yung regarding sa cellphone siguro, just keep your devices on silent para hindi nyo mabala yung facilitation ng laboratory class as well as your other classmates. Okay, so that's it for the policies for this laboratory. Are there any questions or clarifications? Is everything clear? Standard lang naman yan. So, I guess familiar na kayo dun. Required lang talaga kami discuss. By the way, there are officially 10 of you sa class. Miss Jean will be joining us. MS student is Sir Eman Bernardo. So she will be sitting in for the, I guess, first 5 exercise pa. She will be sitting in because she will be using the techniques here for her thesis. Okay, so that's it. Ilan na kayo? 1, 2, 3, 4. Kulang na isa. Kilala niyo ba isang yun? Hindi. Siya sige. Sana dumating pa siya. I'll be sharing the slides with you sa Google Class. Okay? Sure, no more questions? I'll proceed with my next presentation. So, after this, pwede na tayong umuwi. Tapos, next meeting, we'll have exercise 1. Now, I will be reviewing your good laboratory practices. I understand most of you have already taken your, kahit yung mga Kevin nyo na mga laboratory. So, most of them ay magagamit nyo dito sa lab. I make sure that every time I facilitate a laboratory class such as this one, I always orient them with good laboratory practices. Just so make sure lang yung safety ng ating mga students. So, this is the outline of my presentation. I'll be introducing you to GLP, but again, I think most of you know what GLP is. Some basic safety protocols, how to identify hazardous materials inside the laboratory, emergency responses, waste disposal, and some tips and reminders whenever you're conducting yourself inside a laboratory. So GLP stands for Good Laboratory Practices. So it is a set of accepted methods to carry out operations in the lab. The main objective of doing GLP is, of course, personal safety, but inadvertently meron din siyang effect sa mga output nyo sa laboratory. So it also aims to ensure consistency, reliability, and uniformity of any results that may arise from the work that you're doing inside the laboratory. And following these principles ensures the safety of the laboratory personnel. Again, that is our main concern, especially since you are students. GLP has a positive influence on the quality of the experimental results performed in the lab. This is because when you do something consistently, parang nagiging well-oiled machine, tapos nagiging repeatable na yung experiments mo. That repeatability translates to precision and accuracy. Therefore, mas maganda yung quality ng inyong results of the experiment. That's why it's very important for any laboratory to have a set of GLP. When we talk about GLP, we usually use these two terms. So we have safety and also security. They may seem similar, but there's a difference between the two. It just so happens that usually they're used in the same context, but let's differentiate the two. First, safety is considered to be the protection against internal threats, meaning internal up to the structure. Anything that's inside the laboratory is a threat. For example, broken glassware can happen anywhere. Chemical spills. So yun, or even accidents. Kunyari, nabangga yung kaklase nyo, biglang natumba. So those are examples of internal threats. It is usually a factor caused by the factors, human behavior, and also the environment. There's a reason why bakit ganito yung placement ng mga equipment at magagamit sila. It's to prevent any untoward incidences. Ayun yung kinokontrol sa environment. And of course, ito yung ina-address natin sa GLP. Okay? It is often spontaneous and unintentional. Again, since there are accidents. And again, this is what we address. That's why we're following GLP. On the other hand, we have security concerns. Ito naman, protection against external threats, so outside of the structure. I don't know kung nabalitaan nyo, pero a few SEMs ago na nakawan tayo ng copper wire dito sa likod. So we suffered a lot in terms of research output as well as pagtuturo. Kasi parang tagal na brownout dito because of that, na nakawan dyan sa likod. And what has been done to address this? We reported this to the proper authorities. So what they did was to install CCTV cameras and also mga lighting. Improve yung lighting dyan sa labas para ma-deter yung pumaulit man. By the way, twice nangyari yun. I don't know if this is a coincidence, pero lagi February. So magpe-February na sana hindi mauli. Hindi ko alam kung may kino-commemorate sila. Ewan ko ba. Malalaman natin pagdating ng February. Pero hopefully wag naman. It is, yung factor na nag-cause nito is mainly human behavior. Again, yung intention ng rubber na magnakaw ng copper wire. Hindi natin alam. Alam niya yun. Siguro ibebenta. And also planned actions, of course. So, how do we mitigate yung mga security threats? Of course, we have administrative and engineering interventions, such as what was done. So, nag-install ng CCTVs as well as lighting to deter any pumaulit man. Made-deter yung mga robbers na. So, that's the difference between the two terms. Every time we're performing wet lab experiments, I want you to come in the proper laboratory attire, which is presented here. At least the minimum. The first thing that I want is, para sa inyo na nagsusport ng mahabang hair, I want you to have your hair tied back. Okay? Yung eye protection, not so much, kasi wala naman tayo handle na anything that could potentially sumabog sa mukha natin. So I can live na walang eye protection. Anyway, if magkaroon man, we will be providing it for you. Okay? Siguro pinaka-non-negotiable dito would be the lab coat. Okay, so please provide, hindi kami makapag-provide ng lab coat, but I'm sure na meron na kayong naka-ready. Okay? Always bring them. I'll let you know kung may mga exercises na hindi naman kailangan. Para hindi naman mayroon. I-announce ko na lang sa Google Classroom. But I think exercise 2, 3, i-advance ko na. Exercise 2 and 3. Yes, parang yun lang naman dalawa. Exercise 2 and 3. Yung kailangan ng lab yun. Yes. Ay, sige pati 1. 1, 2, 3. Exercise 1, 2, 3. Kailangan ng lab yun. So again, lab coat, kayo magpa-provide. Next, we need gloves. The gloves will be provided by the lab. Okay? So no need to bring, kami na magpa-provide ng gloves para sa inyo. One more thing, yung pants. Hindi kami mag-provide ng pants nyo, but yung pants nyo dapat ay makover yung ankle, preferably. Okay? Long pants dapat. Makover yung skin nyo as much as possible. And lastly, closed-toe shoes. So, mukhang okay naman kayo. Pero kung meron kayong hindi canvas or hindi tela yung upper, that would be much better. Kung meron kayo. Pero yung mga sige, that's fine. Kung hindi available sa inyo. Usually kasi yung unang biktima ng spills would be your feet. So we want your feet to be covered and protected from any unwanted spills. Okay? So ganito, every time na maglalab tayo dito sa 134. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin, anong gagawin natin kapag may classmate kayo na hindi nakaganito? Hindi naka-laboratory attire. Simple na. Anong gagawin natin? I'm quite democratic with my classes, so please feel free to speak up. Kasi yun yung gagamitin natin. Would anyone like to suggest? Wala. Ano, simple na. Kung matusunod, simple. Ano? Again, this this is very important kasi this looks after your safety. Ang gagawin natin?
Sir, pwede po ata humiram sa iba kung meron.
Sige, kung meron sa iba. Paano kung walang ngayon naman? Sige, basta as much as possible, ganito yung ginawa ko sa iba kong klase. Kung hindi, walang access dun sa lab gown, hindi na lang siya magpa-participate. Kumbaga parang mag-observe na lang siya. Would that be okay? Pero wag nyo na palampasin yung opportunity na mag-join, mag-participate, okay? Don't forget your lab coats kapag required on that day. Alright? So sige, ganun na lang. Is that okay? Okay. Mukhang magandang compromise naman yun. Pero kung may access kayo, please bring your lab coats. Kung mababalikan nyo naman. Some basic safety, so do not eat or drink inside the lab. I understand that some of you might have medical conditions, for example, hyperacidity, kailangan kumain in the middle of the class. That would be okay basta hindi nyo gagawin dito sa loob. Just let me know, then step out lang. Okay lang naman sa akin. Just let me know, then step out. Bawal uminom, tsaka kumain sa loob ng lab. This is because baka yung mga, for example, certain beverages look like certain chemicals na nasa lab. Baka yun yung mainom nyo. Or yung pagkain nyo, baka makontaminate ng something na nasa hangin. May ingest nyo. Okay, so simply just let me know, then step out of the lab for a while. Avoid working alone in the lab, but this is especially true kapag probably nakagraduate na kayo, kapag pumunta na kayo sa iba't ibang lab. But since this is a classroom setting, I doubt naman na may iwan dito. But just to let you know, most of the labs operate in such a way na parang may buddy system. No? So, this is because kapag may nangyari sa isang person inside the lab, may isang pwedeng tumawag ng tulong. That's the reason why. Laging nag-work in pairs. But then again, this is a classroom setting. I doubt na magkakaroon tayo ng ganung sitwasyon. Right? Also, take extra care when handling laboratory equipment. Most of the equipment here being used for molecular techniques is quite expensive. For example, we have a qPCR over here. That is worth 4 million pesos. We have our thermocyclers here worth 300,000 pesos. Yung mga yan probably nasa 50,000, 70,000 pesos. Ayun. So we have a lot of expensive equipment. So malaking investment ang magtayo ng molecular lab. So please take care of the equipment. If you're unsure how to use them, please let me know, or someone na nakakaalam sa lab. Or probably even your classmates who had experience handling them. Basta any sign of doubt, always ask. Okay? Always ask for help. And also practice ClayGo. So ClayGo, ano yung sabihin ng ClayGo? Clean as you go. Okay? Hindi lang siya sa Dali at sa 7-Eleven ginagawa. Hindi lang sa Erie Cafeteria ginagawa, pati sa laboratory. I got this habit of doing ClayGo sa lab kasi yung una kong work, so I worked inside the lab. Yung supervisor doon had this very strong na bilin sa akin. Every time mag-work ako sa lab. Papasok ako ng 8 a.m. Kung anong state ko na at 8 a.m. yung lab, dapat pag alis ko ng lab, ganun ulit siya. Now, I want to implement that as well dito sa class na to. Okay? So, yung mga kalat nyo sa mga benches nyo, magaganap during the exercise would be solely your responsibility and not mine. Okay? You're responsible for disposing any trash, cleaning up after yourselves, and also washing the glasswares. Okay? Wala tayong technician dito, so you will be doing that all by yourselves. Do we have a deal? Okay, again, ClayGo tayo. Kung ano nyo nadatnan at 1 p.m., dapat bago ko kayo dismiss, dapat ganun din ulit. Right? Okay. Dali naman kayo kausap. So we do this not only for the orderliness of the lab, but also I truly believe that a clean lab is a safe lab. Kapag madaling kalat dyan, it is more prone to accidents. Okay? So again, ClayGo tayo dito sa ABT 106. In terms of cleaning, you will encounter these 3 terms. We have sanitation, disinfection, and also sterilization. There are very minute differences between these terms, but the point is, nililinis lang natin yung mga gamit na mga gamit natin sa lab. But let's try to define each one. So we have sanitation. When we when we say sanitation, it simply means the reduction of microbial load in any surface or material that we're handling. It is we just make use of general cleaning procedures, and probably the detergents are enough to be able to do this. On the other hand, disinfection, we try to kill the microbes or inactivate them using certain physical and chemical agents. It's considered to be a simple decontamination procedure, and we make use of alcohol. As you can see, we have provided it there kung kailangan ninyo. Alcohol solution, we make use of 70% for disinfection procedures. May UV light tayo, so this is one of the physical na pang disinfect. We have it equipped in some of our equipment, like the fume hood over there. Laminar flow over there. Meron niyang UV light para ma-disinfect. Ano ba? Parang yun lang. And finally, we have sterilization. So when we say sterilization, it is the total obliteration of any contamination in the material. There are certain techniques that would require you to have a sterile na supply or material. For example, the tubes that we will be using for DNA extraction, they're supposed to be sterile. The bottles over there, before natin sila lamnan, or even after, kailangan sterile sila. No? When we're working with DNA especially. Because some of these molecules that we're working with are quite sensitive to that. Other than that, pwedeng makakontam ng microbes na nandun sa material. If we're doing detection for something, it might interfere with the results. So we require sterilization in certain materials. So similarly, it's also considered to be simple decontamination, and we use some of these in the lab. So we have bleach, ginagamit natin, and also autoclaving. This is probably the more common term, ano yung autoclave. No? We subject the material to high temperature and pressure para mamatay yung microbial contaminant. We also make use of oxidative reagents. One good example would be hydrogen peroxide. Anything that has a lot of oxygen in it. No? It can be used to kill off microorganisms. As mentioned earlier, madaming threats inside the lab, and one of them would be yung ating hazardous materials. They may either be physical or chemical. No? Chemical, obviously. Ang daming chemicals dito that are hazardous. I will be pointing them out one by one or as we go through the exercise. Meron din tayong mga physical threats such as, ang tawag namin dito, yung jargon na namin is called sharps. Anything that can cause puncture, we refer to them as sharps, such as, in this figure, these are syringe needles. Pwede rin broken glassware. They may cause punctures or cuts, so therefore they are sharps. They are classified as such because their waste disposal is quite different. There's a special container for this. It's located in our fume hood. So yung mga containers ng sharps for disposal is mas rigid yung kanyang lalagyan, tapos maliit yung butas. The reason for it ay para hindi natin basta-basta may suksok yung kamay natin sa loob. And pati doon sa mag-handle na magtatapon, hindi rin siya ma-injure. That's why we have it designed as such. We also have flammable materials. Yung mga chemicals natin, we will be handling flammable materials such as your alcohol. Yung mga binabala natin sa ating mga alcohol lab, later on we will be using it in later exercises. Ano pa ba? Basta madami. Daming flammable materials dito sa lab. It really helps kapag alam nyo kung alin yung flammable and not. And also, we have certain chemicals that may pose threats to your health. We will be using chemicals in ABT 106. We will be using chemicals that are considered carcinogenic and or neurotoxic. Again, I will let you know if something that you're handling would be either of these. No? Just so you may handle them better. Okay? But please be ready for such. Ano? Again, hindi natin yan maiiwasan. You would see this diagram in most chemical bottles or reagent bottles. So this is a guide for you kapag malalaman mo kung gaano ka-dangerous ang isang substance. This is called the hazard diamond. It is divided into 4 quadrants. So let's take a look at each one. Yung color blue refers to the health hazard, so it has a rating of 0 to 4. The higher the number, the more deadly it is. No? Yung red naman refers to fire hazard. The higher the number, the more flammable it is, or combustible it is. Yung yellow diamond refers to the reactivity with other substances. Again, the higher the value, the higher is the reactivity. And yung white diamond naman is for specific traits ng ating chemical. It may be an acid, it may be a base, corrosive, oxidizer, so on and so forth. Usually, nilalagay lang siya, dinodrawing lang siya dito sa white. So let's say you have an oxidizer over here, it means it has a lot of oxygen in it. Usually, we do not place them together with anything that's flammable. Okay? Because they may improve yung flame. We usually separate oxidizers from flammable materials. The same goes for radioactive materials. So there are special containers for radioactive materials. So please take note yung ating white diamond. Now I do not need to, you do not need to know ang bawat isa, but what I want you to know is the higher the value, the more dangerous the material is. Kapag nakita nyo medyo mataas yung values sa mga diamonds na yan, please handle them with care. Okay? Well, I'm not saying na kapag mababa ay hindi nyo na handle with care. Handle everything with care, but probably more care kapag medyo mataas yung values nila doon sa other diamond. Any questions so far? Okay, moving on, we have a fume hood over there. Nandito sa may left-hand side ko. So this laboratory is equipped with a fume hood. So we make use of a fume hood when we're handling certain volatiles that ayaw nating malanghap. Okay? We manipulate our reagent inside, tapos it is ducted towards the environment. No? There will be a blower there that would suck up the vapors and throw it outside the environment para hindi natin malanghap. So it is a ventilation device used in laboratories to provide a controlled environment for working with hazardous substances and any substance that may produce dust. Okay, one good example would be yung nakakita na kayo ng glass wool na ginagamit sa chemistry lab. Yung glass wool, yung pinapifilter sa mga column. Glass, yung wool siya nagawa sa glass. I know someone na nag-work sa IC. Nabasag niya yung glass wool, tapos nasingkot niya yung dust. Tapos every time nagpapa-chest x-ray siya na labas yung sa lungs. Nag-ano na siya, nag-calcify na dun sa lungs. Ayun. So, iwasan niyo yung mga ganung instance. It's better to work inside of your room. Okay, so the main feature is an enclosed workspace and a ducted exhaust system. Again, this is ducted outside, so into the environment. So, mas diluted na yung vapors na nilalabas ng inyong substance na ginagamit. This is something na bibihira na makita in most modern labs. So this is called an MSDS, or Material Safety Data Sheet. So what is contained in this file are the chemicals that are inside the lab. All chemicals cataloged there, and how to attend to certain emergencies that involve those chemicals. For example, spills or unwanted inhalation, unwanted contact. Anong kailangang step na gawin? Because each of these chemicals, you need to address them differently. So, nandun nakakatalog lahat sa MSDS. However, hindi na siya, parang ano na siya, nalaos na siya in most modern labs because mas madali nyo mag-google ngayon kaysa mag-buklat ka ng clear book. But in most, yung mga labs na early na established, for example, ERI, I once entered the lab in ERI, meron pa silang ganun. May MSDS pa sila na naka-display sa lab. It's usually placed in a very, very visible area inside the lab. So yun. But then again, mas mabilis na kasi mag-google, kaya hindi na siya ganun ka binibigyan ng priority. But nonetheless, whenever we try to procure chemicals or any other substances or reagents, it is already provided by the supplier, yung page for the MSDS. So no need to worry about that. Okay. Ayan. Next are emergency showers and your eye wash stations and also first aid kits. As you can see, itong lab na to ay hindi equipped with an emergency shower. Pero just in case you encounter in an emergency shower elsewhere, you must know how to use it. In case of a spill, kunwari sa katawan nyo, sa damit nyo, the protocol is tanggalin nyo yung damit nyo, again, modesty aside, tapon nyo lahat, ubarin nyo lahat, then mag-submerge kayo sa shower. Ayun yung immediate response. Okay? Yun yung gagawin nyo. Unfortunately, makipilitan ka mag-ubad. Eye wash stations naman are made for yung mga nag-contact sa mata na reagents. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, tutungo lang kayo dito, then press something. Ito kagaya ito. Tutulak nyo, then ipa-flush out yung chemical sa mata mo. Okay? Definitely, kailangan natin ng first aid kit. Ito naman, meron naman tayong first aid kit. Kaya medyo nakakalungkot. Ayun. Ayun lang kinaya ng budget. Nasa blood control na yun. So, at least may first aid kit kung kailangan nyo. I'm not sure lang kung baka expired yung mga gamot. I have to check later. By the way, meron ng mga showers na may enclosure na. Para kung medyo shy type yun, magagamit ko naman siya. Next, emergency exits. Fortunately for us, ito lang naman yun. Wala naman tayo ibang exit point. Alam ko, hindi na ito nagana. Ay, naman. Pwede rin dito. So those are your exit points in case of any emergency. Please take note of the emergency exits. This is called a, wait lang, ito muna. This is a fire extinguisher. So meron tayo doon sa corner. Kung kailanganin natin. No? Please take note of the position of fire extinguisher. Marunong ba kayo gumamit ng fire extinguisher? May acronym yun, di ba? May acronym para sa paggamit. I will review. I-share ko sa inyo. Pag nalaman ko. Nakagamit na ako niyan twice eh. Sa lab. Meron lang ako na nasunod ko. Finally, we have what's called a spill kit. So this is an example of a spill kit. Ito yung ginagamit in case of spills ng chemicals inside the lab. Let me explain ano para saan itong mga to. So itong mga ito, hindi yan salvavida sa swimming pool. Ito yung ating absorbent material na ginagamit to enclose the spill. Let's say kunyari may spill dito. So the tendency is that it will grow outwards. Gagawin mo, enclose mo siya using this French fries na mga to. Papalikot mo sa kanya para mapigil na yung pag-spread. Hindi nalalayo yung chemical spill. We also have sandbags over here para ma-absorb yung chemicals na kailangan natin. Tapos, meron ding hazard tape kung kailangan natin palibutan yung area ng hazard. What else? So what you do, kunyari may spill dyan, palibutan nyo siya nung hindi ko lang kung tawag dito. So, papalibutan nyo siya to prevent the further pagkalat ng ating chemical. Then, you absorb the chemical using the sandbags. Lagay nyo lang siya doon, then hintayin nyo ma-absorb, then throw them in the dustbin that has been provided. Then, itapon nyo na siya properly. So that's how we use a spill kit. For waste disposal, always know the proper disposal procedure of a substance before starting your experiment. So, usually nasa MSDS din yan, or pwede nyo i-Google. But for the general method is that for common acids or bases, you always dilute them before throwing them down the sink. Okay, just to ensure na wala nang corrosive properties nila. Okay? Not all chemicals can be disposed down the drain though. Okay? For example, meron tayong mga materials na sobrang lapot, posibleng bumana sa sink. Meron din tayong mga materials na pwedeng mag-leach into the environment kapag tinapon natin sa sink. So please take note of those materials. I will be mentioning them kapag ginagamit din natin sila. Okay? Use appropriate waste containers for storage, especially for sharps. For sharps, tandaan nyo na mention ko, medyo mas rigid dapat yung lalagyan niya, tapos maliit yung butas. Para hindi natin may pasok yung kamay basta-basta. And some chemicals require further processing before disposal. One good example of this is ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide is a known carcinogen and a known staple in any molecular biology lab. So we cannot go without it kasi ginagamit natin siyang pang-stain ng DNA. But the problem is hindi mo siya basta-basta pwedeng itapon. Kailangan mong ipunin yung waste mo, then decontaminate it using a certain chemical. Particularly, potassium permanganate, ginagamit in a series of acid and base neutralization steps. But don't worry, hindi nyo naman gagawin yun. But it's good to know na hindi nyo pwedeng basta-basta itapon yung mga chemicals na gano'n. And some chemicals would be like that as well. Kailangan nyo i-process pa before disposing. Next, we have record keeping. So this is very important whenever you're working inside the lab because record keeping ensures accurate, organized, and compliant laboratory operations. Lahat ng gagawin nyo inside the lab ay dapat naka-record on the spot. Ideal, on the spot, habang ginagawa nyo. This is because it would ensure the reproducibility of experiments and also aid in any troubleshooting that might arise later on. Okay? Okay, tama yung mga experiment. But again, this is a lab class setting. Yung ating record keeping would be in the form of your worksheets. Okay? Again, study them para alam nyo kung anong data yung ilalagay nyo. But kapag lumabas na kayo sa ibang laboratory, i-issuehan kayo usually ng isang laboratory notebook. In fact, in some labs, hindi pwede iuwi yun. Bawal nyo ilabas ng laboratory. Doon lang siya i-iwan. Because it's still the property of the lab. It's not your personal property. But for, kunyari nag-start na kayo mag-thesis work, well, parang hindi naman ganun ka-strict dito. But just ensure that at least your supervisor can understand what you're writing in your lab notebook. Para madaling sundan. One good example is, kunyari nagkaroon kayo ng very exciting discovery coming from your experiment. Kaya lang may nag-dispute na sinasabi, nauna namin gawin yan. Ang ginagawa usually kasi ng mga IP regulators natin, the first thing that they would do is look back on your record notebooks. That's why some laboratories are very strict in being compliant in record keeping. No? That's why it's important na meron kayo, you always keep a record of the experiments that you're doing in any kind of laboratory. So entries must be detailed as possible, and I'm guilty of this, it must be understandable by others. No? So I hope, hindi nyo kasing pangit yung sulat ko. But then again, try to have, mag-effort kayo na gandahan yung sulat. Make sure that it's understandable by others, or at least your supervisor. So this is my last slide. I'll be sharing to you some tips and tricks and reminders that I have learned throughout my laboratory career. So always plan your day ahead. Again, the lab manual is already provided, well, at a certain price. Pero at least you have it on hand. You can read before coming to class kung ano yung gagawin for the day. That would really help a lot. Aside from that, pwede magpa-quiz ako anytime. So at least na-go through nyo na yung may sasagot na kayo sa quiz. Hindi na kayo zero. Okay, read through the whole protocol before performing any of the experiments that you're doing. Huwag yung on the spot gagawin nyo si number 1. On the spot gagawin nyo si number 2. Read everything first before kayo mag-proceed. That would be very helpful then in understanding bakit yung ginagawa yung experiment na yun. If you're working with solvents, do not, well, some protocols would require you to smell certain solvents. Huwag nyo i-direct yung ilong nyo sa bote. So you waft. I'm sure familiar kayo sa, sa gesture na to. This is wafting. If this is the bote, no reagent, gagawin nyo siya. Then sa kanya amoyin. Huwag directly sa ilong. Baka masira yung ilong nyo. Okay? Next, never pipette anything by mouth. What does this mean? Although wala naman tayong glass pipettes dito, alam niyo naman yung glass pipette, di ba? Usually yung pipe yung parang glass rod na ganyan, tapos may graduations. It's used to measure liquids. So, ang ginagamit usually is an aspirator. Parang gano'n siya. However, yung mga matatanda kasi na laboratory practitioners, hindi pa uso yung aspirator. Talagang, hindi, legit na protocol ba? Talagang sinusop-sop nila sinusop-sop nila yung dulo. That's a legit protocol dati. Although, aside from being unsanitary, it's unsafe. No? In fact, I recently had the experience of a co-faculty member. Di ko lang ikakwento ko anong gamit dito yung sinot-sop niya. Pero meron. No judgment there. Wala kaming resources. Ayun. But I hope as students, wag nyo gagawin yun. Your safety is our responsibility. Okay? Label reagents properly. Not only the identity of the reagent, but also the concentration and when it was made. You might see some reagents there that was made by our students, previous students. Kung makikita niyo, kayo lumayo. Yung mga reagents na some of the students have made them. So the essential information, aside from the identity of the reagent, the concentration is important. Huwag nyo kakalimutan yung concentration. The date kung kailan ginawa, and also kung sinong gumawa. We usually use our initials, no? Para lang mas maunti yung susulat. The reason for this is mahalaga yung concentration in some experiments. That's why dapat ilagay natin yung concentration. And yung meron tayong mga reagents na nag-expire at a certain time period after sila matimpla. So it's good to know kung kailan sila ginawa. Okay, kaya tayo naglalagay ng date. Yung tao naman kung sino gumawa para meron tayong masisisi pag may nangyaring masama sa experiment. Hindi, biro lang. Hindi ko rin sure. Basta siguro bragging rights. Hindi ko alam. Basta make sure na meron din kung sino nagawa ng reagent. I'm not really sure kung bakit. Immediately report any accidents that happen. Huwag nyo itatago. Hindi naman kayo sisingilin. Unless mga maliliit na items yung mabasa nyo. For example, a beaker or some kind of flask kasi hindi naman ganun kamahal yun. Pero in terms of large equipment, meron naman kaming contingencies for those. Okay, just let us know. Kami nang bahala. Although, huwag nyo nang paabutin sa ganun kasi medyo katakot-takot yung proseso. Okay, that would depend on the budget that we have. But then again, might as well just take good care of our equipment. Alright? Also report any near misses. So this is very important for us as laboratory facilitators kasi we will be able to address this in the next iteration of the lab class. Kunyari nakita nyo na pag ginagawa pala ito, medyo delikado kung malapit sa mata, sumabog sa mukha ko. So we can address that in the next iteration. Just please let us know. Okay? Para hindi na umabot sa ganun. Also, in terms of record keeping, do not delay updating your records. Again, on the spot sana habang nagawa kayo ng experiment. The worksheets will be provided, so pwede nyo doon isulat. Okay? Kung magtitesis na kayo or any independent research work, make sure that your record notebook is always updated. And of course, when in doubt, always ask a colleague. It's possible that he or she already knows how to use the equipment, he or she already knows how to make this reagent, baka makatulong siya sa'yo. Or even your supervisors, probably me, as the FIC, or even yung mga RAs namin dito, ganyan, si Andrea, yung Chita, pwede nyo siyang tanongin. No? Kasama nila sa pizza, TOR nila. Pwede nyo silang tanongin. You would see some of our research associates here from time to time, kasi this also doubles as a research lab. Okay, so that's it for my presentation on GLP. So are there any questions or clarifications? Wala. Sure? Basta. Last call for questions, clarifications. I'll also be providing you a copy of this for your reference. Yes po.
Kung sa panood, pwede mo ba kung natapos?
Oo, pwede na.
Wala akong hinahanap na video.
Ano ba?
Yung hinahanap na subject.
Wala naman, basta po may kumbay. Basta may kumbay. Alam niyo naman, kailangan kumita. Ayun. So please wait for the announcement of Dr. Galvez. Ako na lang po magsasabi. Attend din po ba kayo lecture? Lab. Sige po. Sabihan ko na lang po kayo available. Sige po. Wala na questions? For the laboratory manual, please wait for the announcement sa lecture ni Dr. Galvez. Most likely sa reading room po po ipa-purchase yung lab manual. Okay, if wala na questions, I'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll start with exercise 1. Please bring your lab gowns and also scientific calculators. Okay, I'll also reiterate this announcement sa Google Classroom. I'll add each one of you. Kung meron na, sabi ko na kayo. Okay, sige. Alright, it's great to meet everyone. See you all next week.
Oo. Saan ka galing? Saan ka galing?
Nandiyan ako, tapos nangyay ako para bumili. Tapos tinapik pa ako, tapos naligaw pa ako.
Okay lang din naman ang nandiyan. Ano? Kung wala, dito ba yan? O saan? Sa base chair. Dito lang yun.
Hindi ko alam kung ano rin yung meron na reference nila pang
Hindi ko wala na lang. Ano ba sana? Ano? Wala na. Saan ka nag-gym?
Mayon.
Yung sa may ano?
Sa may tapat ng
Tapat ng
Lopez.
yung may elementary school. Dito na ako. Ingat. Lord.